I was young. I lived a happy life, much like everyone else. However, it seems that this cause for happiness is without reason. I was, for a time, very impulsive, and there are many decisions that I've made that I have regretted later. Fast forward to middle school and high school, I still could not bear to hold on these feelings that I've suppressed over the years because of how much I had to go through. But it's very important to know that even though this may be the case, unlike many others, this all of this has spiraled into one contributing cause, autism spectrum disorder. Now, autism spectrum disorder in the old days were generally considered to be comparable to insanity or mental retardation. And now we know that that's not the case. Autism is actually no more than a condition that possesses no cure, but at the same time also contains a variety of symptoms that are very different in each individual. Now, even though in the modern day world people have made people have made this case aware, it's still important to note that even if autism has been noted by many people, there are many countries around the world that are still unable to ascertain this fact. And because of that, they commonly mistreat people under those conditions. Now, to start with, what is autism spectrum disorder? Autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopmental condition that affects the prefrontal cortex in the front of the brain. The prefrontal cortex governs all executive functioning, which means that autism can inhibit decision making, memory, and amongst other cognitive skills. In general, autism may give people the mentality of children, even as adults. Now, that isn't to say that they are forever condemned or hopeless. There are still many people, who are able to help themselves or to self-reflect and to improve themselves over the years. And even then, there are still many popular figures that fall under this condition. In my case, even though it was implied that not many people knew much about me, I've spent 14 years of my life not knowing who I really was. And it was on that 15th year that after learning the truth about what I had, that it became my goal to try to better myself, because I was lucky enough to be able to determine the reality of the world. Now, going back to what I said, USA is a country that, because of its liberal motives and its melting pot community, many people are able to understand this cause and usually do things to perceive and to help. But other countries are not so grateful. In places like France, French psychologists keep students falling under this condition to be treated to psychotherapy because they still believe in the fact that autism spectrum disorder is related to insanity. There was a recent case in the September 2015, a boy in preschool who was detained to a cage by the principal out of unknown motives. And there was also a recent study in Nigeria that shows that about 41% of the healthcare workers believe in the fact that autism may be originated from supernatural or preternatural causes. Whatever country affairs may be, this still does not change the fact that autism has been used by a label regarding to people who are under unfortunate circumstances because of their individuality. But in truth, autism is a lot more subtle than you think. It's only a very minor difference in each person's life. And even if people were to live normally, there are still people with autism are actually not as dangerous or not as violent as we may think. I used to be that person once, and it was only because I had very little understanding of the way life worked. But now knowing this, it made me want to become a better person, because I know that even though I may be blunt or prone to violence, that I still very care greatly for the world and its being. So after asserting that fact, once a person knows the truth, they have the will to change that future. They have the will to change it into the future they want, and that's the future that I'm deciding